Hey, what's going on? Welcome to another edition of Market Monday here in the Katy Texas Market with your Katy Texas Realtor. My name is Jorge de Jesus with Century 21 Western Realty and the Matt Freeman team. And I wish I had different news, but I do. I kind of do. I really do. So here's what's been happening the past 7 days. And if you're new to this, please subscribe. Hit the like button, especially if I bring you any type of value. It would mean the world to me. That tells me what kind of content to make and what not to make. But jumping back into what's been going on in the real estate market, and these kind of videos, I make them. I have buyers in mind because it's a seller's market, but I think sellers should get a pat on the back, especially this week too. So what's been happening? Well, interest rates are exactly where they were about a week ago, anywhere between 5.25% and 5.75%. But depending on what you qualify for, your interest rate could be higher. So keep that in mind. If you're out there buying, or if you're selling and then considering buying, your interest rate could be something that's much higher than that. With that said, it's not going to be that much higher. You might not hit the 6% interest rate. However, you might. I've seen some, but I want to reiterate, and this is something that I've mentioned in other videos, is as much as that sounds really high, and comparatively it is, that's just it. Comparatively, in relation to how the market was a few months ago, yes, absolutely, it's bananas. The amount of money that you're paying on the money that you're borrowing to buy a home is bananas. Yes, 100,000%. I'm not going to disagree with you on that. But what I will say is that I'm going to disagree with anyone that says it's not the time to buy a home. And I'm going to drive this point in again. If you wait on the sidelines, interest rates might come back down to a more manageable level in a few years or a few months. I don't know. We don't have crystal balls. But what I can say is prices are not going to slow down. That's it. Prices are not going to slow down. Historically, the way prices work is by comparison, right? So if a home, let's say you have two homes, and home A sold a year ago at 300,000, and now in this new market where things are going a little higher, home B is exactly the same home. It's going to sell at 350,000, but worst case scenario, it sells at 300,000. So when you have crashes and corrections, these prices they hit a basement, but it's not going to be that low of a basement. So whenever anyone's telling you just wait for a crash, they've not done the homework to be giving you that kind of advice. Prices are still going to be on the rise. Interest rates, those fluctuate, but here's the thing that I want to get into today. After seeing about 140 homes sold in the Katy market this past week alone, and with hundreds more still on the market, these are the two things that I want to bring together. Interest rates are on the rise for a reason. Interest rates are on the rise because what the government wants to do is slow down this rapid growth of home prices by driving down demand. Because if you increase how much it costs to borrow money, that way less people will take on the challenge of buying a home. That said, it's not working as quickly as anyone would hope, enough to drive prices all the way back down to last year's prices. And that last year's prices, we would love to see them and cherish them forever, and maybe come up with a way that we keep prices the same forever, but that's not how the market operates. So what's the good news? Okay, great. For sellers, it's still a hot market, especially in the Katy area. If you're looking to sell a Katy, Texas home, give me a call. My phone number is on the screen. Our team would love to service your selling needs or answer any questions, really. If all you really want to know is, how much is my home worth, or should I be doing anything to get my home ready, or is now the time to sell, or any questions that we get all the time about selling a Katy, Texas area home, shoot me a message. I'll get you. You'll either talk to me or somebody on the team, and we'll answer those questions for you. For sellers, that's it. That's the short of it. However, and for buyers, and this ties together. For buyers, you are starting to see. Last week I spoke about slowdown in the 650s and up. You are starting to see in some of the lower. In the lower price ranges, you are starting to see a few more days on market, meaning how long it takes for that home to find the right buyer. And it's been because of something that I've been talking about for the last 8 to 10 weeks. It's taking a little longer because some of these homes are coming to the market a little higher than they should in order to attract enough attention to then drive the price up. What's actually happening is that the homes are coming in high, and there's only that many people that are willing to look at a home, as opposed to bringing in people who have a lower budget that are willing to push and stretch that budget for the right home, right? So that's, for a seller, I would say be careful how you price a home, speak to the right professional. And for a buyer, there are opportunities out there that are coming out in the 400 to 600 range, where you are seeing 3 or 4 days on market for the right buyer to show up for the right home. Right now you're looking at 6, 7, sometimes 10 days, 2 weeks for the right buyer to show up to the right home. In what is causing that? I would say a couple of things, particularly the things that I've already mentioned, that the homes are coming into the market a little bit too high, and then they're having to chase the right buyer in the opposite direction. But I think that you're seeing less buyers try to make a purchase. But also, I think that you still have enough buyers out in the market that are trying to make a purchase, so that the difference is only about 6-7 days, right? But what that means though is that maybe, just maybe, and there's not enough, and I was looking at the data, there's not enough data to say that it's a trend, right? So in the last 14 days, we've gone from an average of 30 days on the market for a home. And that's an average, right? Because it could take 45 days, it could take 5 days, you take an average, But what you're seeing is that the trend has gone from 30 days. Right now, at the end of April, you were closer to the 20-day mark, right? So you're seeing that because a lot of the inventory that's coming out of the market is in that 350 and below, 400 and below range. And I'm speaking particularly to the Katy area. So if your home is anywhere in the 77449, 77493, 77450, those are the homes that are getting absorbed and sold the quickest. Those are the areas that are getting absorbed and sold the quickest. When it comes to homes higher than that, it's taking a little longer, and that's not necessarily a huge deal. Okay, I would say though, again, hire the right professionals to give you the right opinions of value, and I would also caution to wait too long to get your ducks in a row. So I'll take a second, because I'm speaking to more and more potential buyers every single week, and I'm finding that people are bringing in their own misconceptions of how the process of buying a home works. And the first thing is getting your financial house in order. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, you wouldn't do it on your own. Unless you're buying a house all cash, you wouldn't really try to figure that out on your own. What you would do is you call somebody like me, and I would refer you to a lender partner who would give you, here are the guidelines, here's the different loans, and here's what you do or don't qualify for. With that being said, Um, I think there's also a misconception that you have to bring 20% to the table to buy a home. You absolutely don't. Okay, so there's other ways, other programs. Sometimes you don't even have to bring a down payment, or but closing costs are a very common thing, and we can discuss that in a later video, or if you give me a call. Anyways, I think I'm gonna cut it off there. Like I said, homes are still selling at about the same pace. My opinion, you're going to see a shift. And I believe that that's inevitable. I'm not saying anything prophetic. I think that just naturally occurs. But when that's gonna happen, I don't think any of us should try to time it. I think if you're prepared to sell a home, especially in the Katy area, the market's not gonna slow down and it's gonna be in your favor for a little while. But there's no better time than now. And if you're buying a home, there are options. More and more options are coming to the market. So now would be the time to talk to a professional, get the information you need. And you know what? If the information doesn't sound good to you, you don't have to pursue the purchase. But I would say now is a better time than any.